welcome to the stream. We about to start standing on business. We'll be starting soon, guys. Welcome to the stream. Hello, mic check.
What's up? Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly fine. Can y'all hear him? You guys are in the audience. Can y'all hear him? That's the feeling I wanted you to have, Lady OJ. Yeah, welcome to the stream. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Please let me introduce you to Chez Jean-Paul, also known as Mike Jean-Paul, guys. Okay. Please let's dive right into it. Mike, can you let us know a little bit about your background?
Oh, absolutely. So I'm from Haitian descent, from my mom's Haitian, dad's Haitian. However, I grew up in New York, and found many ways and avenues to be in different states in the country. However, we kind of settled down in Florida, finished high school down in Florida. Also went to university. I actually got a culinary degree, along with a business management degree as well. So just been living my life for the most part in Florida. My good 80 to 90% of my time, adulthood in Florida. And so just been around a few blocks, seen it all, done it all, so to speak, you know what I mean? And so, I'm glad that first and foremost to be able to connect with you today and express my passion and new ventures that, that I'm just starting in my new, in life right now.
What was it like for you growing up?
Just like anybody else, man, we had times, in challenges and, things was a bit of a challenge at times, you know what I mean? But I think what drove me personally, although, as a child, as a kid, you have no control over the things that were happening around you. You just hoped and prayed that, God had a better way or a better life for you ahead. And so my idea and thoughts, even though like the environment that I grew up in, which was Brooklyn, New York, it was, it wasn't all glory and it wasn't all the best, you know what I mean? But I think something in the back of my head, in my drive, in the way that I think, always had it in mind, like I wanted to be something, I wanted to be someone, you know what I mean? And so while I had friends end up in different type of lifestyle, whether it be getting, locked up in prison, even, in gangs or even killed. I just knew that although it was around me, although I lived it, I breathed it, it was something, like I said, I just knew it wasn't for me. And so I just wanted to better myself personally and knowing that sky is the limit. And I wanted to be able to kind of venture off from what was around me and just making life my own.
Got you. Interesting. Would you be able to share with me what were some of the things you had to overcome being a young youth growing up in Brooklyn, New York?
Oh man, I remember this like it was yesterday. Just the aspect of I remember this like it's funny that I'm saying this story because it's not a good one. However, it was my life. I remember when the gang environment of the gang life came to New York, and the kid going from growing up in Brooklyn, and the thing about me is I was actually going to school in Queens. So if you guys are familiar, Brooklyn and Queens is not close at all. So I had to hop on two trains to go to school one way, and then two trains back. And that varied at times in terms of the time frame from an hour and a half to 2 hours most times. And I remember when the whole situation with gangs just took over New York. And I remember, when it was initiation days and, they were coming to my school and the mindset I had and the thought process was like, I definitely didn't want to get caught up in all of that. You know what I mean? And I also didn't want to be a victim, and so I was always a leader. People always, for some reason or another, kind of gravitated towards me and kind of like followed my lead. So I had I wouldn't say a crew, but I just had a group of friends that we always hung out together. And so I just remember there were many, many, many days that leaving school and and these affiliation we're having or we're about to happen, we just kind of clicked together, my friends and I, and we were able to just walk to the train station and that long train ride to Brooklyn. You're always praying to yourself like, man, I hope I'm not a victim. And so it's kind of like you mentally, I had to be ready for anything, for any scenario. And there were moments that, I don't even want to talk about on this live, but there were moments that things were very, very challenging. But I think it's just your mindset. And I think that it was extremely important for me to know that there's going to be better days. And so thank God that I was able to survive those moments. There were some horrific ones that I can remember, but most importantly, it was just maneuver through nonsense. And I think that I remember those instances vividly, unfortunately, but that's what I had to go through. And not just me, many of teens, many of those who were around my age had to experience that as well.
Sound like you had a very challenging childhood, would you say?
I can say that, yes. Yes.
So, Mike, please, for the people who are just walking in, just kindly introduce yourself and let them know what it is that you do.
Absolutely. So government name is Mike, but most people know me by JIGGA. A lot of people know me by that. And so right now I'm on a new venture, and it's all about helping people. And it's not just helping people; it's just I have a passion, right? And that's how this company that I birthed a few weeks ago came about. And so for those of you who are just meeting me for the first time doing this live, it's kind of like give you a backstory. So a few years ago, I would say about 3-4 years ago, I have decided to go to Ghana, Africa, and I was supposed to go there many years ago, but I was always afraid. Just had really my thoughts weren't there, right? And so 3 years ago, I had the opportunity to go, and I took it by the bull by its horn, and I went out there. You know what I mean? And the things that I had in mind weren't the things that actually were there waiting for me, and so my mind was blown by the ideology that we had we had embedded or stamped in our minds as a child in America, and the systemic ways and education that we all kind of learn from. So it was completely different. It was 180-degree different, where people are thriving. The infrastructure are way advanced than what I had thought it would have been. And what was fascinating too, and I laugh about this. I see more Benzes in Ghana than I've seen in Miami. You know what I mean? And so it was just fascinating to kind of like live that moment myself personally, seeing all of that. And at that moment, the light bulb just popped in my head, and I was like, hold up, and not only just kind of go back a little bit, I can say to you too, and for those of you who have the opportunity, who's gone to Africa or have the opportunity to plan that trip, when I got to Ghana, there was an overwhelming feeling. Guys, I can't explain it. I don't know how to explain it. It was just something that overcame my body, my entire being. And so it just felt like I belong here, right? And this is the first day. I'm talking about just getting off the plane, getting my luggage, going outside, and it was just like, wow, something hit me. In addition to the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the warm welcome that, people who don't even know me was just giving me. And it was just amazing because I've traveled throughout the world. I've gone through many places, Europe, of course, in the States and stuff like that, and many islands, but this was different. And so I was like, hey, why am I feeling so different? I originally was going out there for about a month. It was just so amazing that I ended up doing 3 months. I extended my stay. And so just a lot of things that were happening. And I just wanted to be able to not only see myself living here, but how can I help? And so came up with a couple of business ideas and just putting them into motion right now.
Okay. Would you say that feeling was a feeling of being at home?
Oh my goodness. I think you took the word right out of my mouth. Yes. Not only it was just a feeling being at home, it was like I belong here. Again, I've traveled throughout the lands, but it was just like I belong here. And so it was a feeling like no other, outside of just, yes, I'm home.
Got you. So I don't think you gotten the opportunity when I asked you to introduce yourself. Can you please allow them to know the name of your business?
Absolutely. So the name of my business is Chez Jean-Paul. So it is an LLC that I've actually created down here in the States. And so I've been there once, I've been there 2 more times, and every time it's always been more than 3 months. What I wanted, with the grace of God, I was able to be successful and achieve. So went the first time, I was like, man, this was good, but I need to come back. It's like having a meal, right? And this meal is amazing, it's wonderful. And so you always have that meal in mind. You're like, yo, next time I want to go to that same restaurant and order that same meal. And it was kind of like, it was kind of like that for me in Ghana. I was like, man, this meal is amazing. And I wanted to come back. And so when I went the second time around, but prior to, I wanted to kind of like find my niche, right? Because there was a lot going on. There are a lot of diasporas actually are moving to Ghana as we speak. And so for the last few years, that's what's been happening. And I said, why can't I be one of them, right? And so when I did a lot of research and tried to establish citizenship or some sort of residency, I went through the roadblocks and the dead ends and things of that nature, because let's be honest, Ghana is not like America. You know what I mean? It is the third world country, and so things happen in a turtle's pace, right? Unlike how things happen here in America, where we can simply order something in Amazon and get it the same day or the next morning, right? So things don't work like that in Ghana. And so I had to learn that the hard way, and no wonder, you see, guys, I have no hair. I was pulling out my hair, and every, frustration and stressful moments that I've experienced there. And so because of that experience in itself, that's what kind of like helped, the idea came and says, you know what, how can I help the next person? You know what I mean? And that's why, again, I birthed this company. Again, it's Chez Jean-Paul. You guys can check the website out. It's ChezJeanPaulLLC.com. And what I do, guys, is I help those who are diasporas, whether you're in America, you're in Europe, wherever in the world that you want to come down to Ghana, whether it's just a visit or if you want to transition to moving there, I am that person that you can reach out to. You can go ahead and do a consultation. We have an opportunity, we sit down, we talk, and I ask you, what is it that you want? And based on your needs and your wants, I will guide you through those steps and I won't stop until we're successful. So whatever it may be. So it stems from guidance to citizenship, to business registration, to work permit, to residency. I even go down to if you need security services. I have a network of people that I work with. I can actually get you security, pick you up from the airport, bring you to your destination, or let's say it's your first time in a third world country. You don't feel safe or you don't feel comfortable. That security team, they can actually take you to one place to another, whether it be a
Mike,
lounge or a club.
I don't want to cut you off. I know you're excited and I can feel the excitement. I think we all can feel the excitement. But
Right, right.
I didn't get to those questions yet.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So I don't want you to give too much away, and then there's no questions to really ask you
Absolutely.
when we
My
get to that
apologies.
point. All right. What I do want to know, Mike, I do want to know, how did your journey as an entrepreneur begin?
Well, it actually started here in America. Just the idea of owning my own thing and making my own money. I think that as a kid, I always had it where I didn't want to for my whole life. I didn't want to work for nobody. You know what I mean? And so I try to find many avenues and aspects. So as I made mention earlier, I have a culinary degree. And so my entrepreneurship actually started there, where right after college and also living in Jamaica and worked in Jamaica as a sous chef, I was able to come back to the States with the knowledge I had, with the skills that I had, and I opened up my own catering company.
Would you say that was your very first business?
First business and stuff on papers, but I always had that entrepreneurship mindset, even as a little kid. You know what I mean? Where I would have people kids come play video games and I'll charge them, right? And so it was always something that I always had in my mind. How can I make a couple of dollars? And so it's in you. It's something that's
Right.
in you. You just have to activate it. And I activated it with the catering company. Going out as far as an adult and so on. Yeah.
Would you say from your childhood growing up, you always had that business mentality?
Yes, I definitely did. That's for sure.
Love that. Love that. So let me ask you, bridging bridging people to Africa. What inspired the name?
Great question. What inspired that name? Because I thought of a lot, right? A lot of names or slogans to come up with. And I think that what I came with was just the idea of me being the middleman, right? We know, and sometimes in businesses, different businesses, there's always a middleman, a middle ground, though that person that kind of connects that bridge from one end to another. And so came across that because another thing too, my desires is not just to stay in Ghana, it's Africa at some point, right? Because I could have just said bridging to Ghana, bridging people to Ghana. So it's not just that, it's also Africa while I get my feet wet in other countries and establishing a network there. So that's how the name came about, just being that middleman, to being able to help those who need that assistance that I didn't have, that I had to do everything on my own, with, of course, with the assistance of some locals. But that's how that name came about.
Love that. Love that. Love that. You mentioned you didn't have that assistance. So when it came to you trying to get your citizenship and everything established out there, how difficult was it for you?
Let's put it this way: it took me 3 years. so, so that's the challenge in itself, right? I would say Ghana is like, it's who you know, right? That's how you typically can get ahead. And it's like any other country, but that who you know mentality is really, really prevalent in Ghana in ways where who you know is how fast you're going to climb up the ladder. So at the time when I went for the first time, I just knew some close friends that I've known for years, but they didn't have connections like that. And so doing research and everything else, going to different departments, whether it be immigration office, whether it be, different departments that I've actually traveled to. Everyone was just, hey, no, we don't do it here. No, we don't do it there. And just for you, for the audience to also know this too, see, Ghana created this new program back in 2019. It's called the Beyond the Return, right? And so I was in Ghana 2022 or 2023. And so I knew about the Beyond the Return. So I got excited about that program. What it is a 10-year program that came about in which they're actually helping other diasporas like myself to be able to help and guide and also be successful in getting their citizenship. So kind of like a welcome back home type of thing, right? And so once that was done and I heard about it, that was the route that I intended to go. However, again, we're in Ghana, and so there was a lot of roadblocks, a lot of dead ends that I've actually met, unfortunately, and went through that. So it took me some time. It's like I said, it took 3 years, and it was a challenge.
And just for the people that's in here listening and that may not know what a diaspora is, would you be able to explain that to them?
Absolutely. The best way I can explain it, so we're any black person, a black race, right? I would say anyone. Our origin is Africa. So if we are going back to Africa, we're not even having to go back, but we're diaspora. So in essence, it's going back to the motherland, going back to where you originated. So it makes you a diaspora. And so whether you're in Europe, America, wherever in the world, you would be a diaspora of Africa.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just walking in, welcome to Standing on Business. We are currently interviewing Mike. Okay, he is the CEO of Chez John Paul, which is bridging people to Africa, guys. So please make sure if you're in here that you hit him with a follow and you look it up. If you've been looking to travel, definitely he is the man to go to for that. Let's move right along. What inspired you to create this platform? What would you say is your inspiration for wanting to do this?
I think not only the challenges that I faced, but I am seeing it's a huge movement right now. It's a huge movement. I see a lot of people are not only going to Ghana or Africa, but also are asking questions, right? Because with anything and everything, it starts with questions, it starts with the mind, right? And then we put forth the action. So when I'm realizing that there's a true movement that's happening, I was a part of, it was over 200 of us the day that our citizenship ceremony, it was a bit over 200 of us who got in it. And even at my ceremony, I don't know if you guys know Yandy and Mendisi and also Dr. Umar, they were there as well getting their citizenship. So we were in the same class. And right before then, like a month or two prior to that, there was over 500 diasporas who actually became Ghanaian citizen. And so just connecting it and seeing like, oh my goodness. So in a 2 months time span, there was over 700 people who became a Ghanaian citizen. And so that's one of the things I was like, you know what? This is a true movement. This is something that not only that I can help people, again, bridging that gap, but being able to help them and ultimately releasing them from that migraine or that frustration that could actually happen if they're doing it on their own.
I love that. I love that. So, was there a personal experience that sparked your interest in helping Black Americans obtain Guineanship?
I would say that the specifics was just the runarounds, you know what I mean? And understanding, so I have now the opportunity and the ability to understand both cultures, right? Although we're from the same race, although we're brothers and sisters, but the cultures are completely different. The environments are completely different. And so knowing that, I know that a lot of us who have never been to a third world country, a lot of us who have never been to Africa, we need that patience, right? I always say this, I joke around, I say in order to live or in order to be able to be successful in Ghana, you need 2 P's. The first one is patience and then persistence, right? And so knowing that with us, we unfortunately, sometimes we can lack patience. Hey, I'm one myself, but living in Ghana or being there for quite some time, I learned it, right? And then knowing how people move and how people work over there, I'm like, okay, you know what? I can help that because I've already made the adjustments that, unfortunately, some of us don't have here in America.
I love that. You did mention earlier, you said it was quite difficult and it took you about 3 years. So my question to you is, under your, let's say an average person came to under your company, wanted to use your company to get citizenship. What would you say the average time will take for them?
That, that's a great question. So right now, just so you guys know, this is for information. So Ghana just also transitioned to a new administration, just like America did, right? And so the new administration just joined January 7th. And so with that being said, as I mentioned earlier, you guys will continue to hear me say that things move a little bit slow in Ghana. And so with the new administration, I had the opportunity to actually went to the Jubilee House, aka it's the White House of Ghana. It's called the Jubilee House. I had the opportunity to sit down with the director of the diaspora office to be able to talk to him and asking him that same question. And so right now, everything is being put in place. There isn't truly a time frame or a time period on when that's going to actually reveal itself. So it's more of a, we're getting information, and as I get information through my network of people and my resources, then we'll be able to apply those, make those applications. So there really, to answer your question, there isn't really a timing period. It's just more about the new policies and the regulations that's going to be taking place in the near future. Then we can, then we'll know at that time.
I can definitely understand that. Let me ask you, what gap or need did you see that led you to launch this initiative?
I see that.
And it is under a new,
Say that again.
I said, what gap or need did you see that led you to launch this?
Another factor was also the what can we, as the Western world, as Black people, can bring to Ghana in terms of business, right? In terms of real estate, in terms of not only that once we create a business, it's our gain in terms of financially, but we're also helping the locals as well. We're providing them with jobs. So when I realized that, those avenues really touched me, because when I'm in Ghana, I have a driver, so I'm paying someone, right? I have somebody who comes and clean my place. That's the local, and so that's making paying someone, having an employee, and so it's very important. I even have somebody sometimes when I do need to go grocery shopping or doing the market. I'll have somebody go and do that for me as well, and so it's also helping the country, helping those who are in need. So that was one of the things and one of those factors. I was like, you know what? It would be an amazing thing, not only that we're living there, but we're also bringing money to the country.
I'm glad you just mentioned that. You mentioned having a driver, people to clean for you. It sounds like when you go out there, you're living a lavish life. Is that something that an average person will be able to go out there and be able to afford
It's a great
if they're on a
question.
budget?
Great question. I think that if you are making USD, you can live in Ghana with no problem. The most expensive thing is your flight. So once you get your flight, and for those who are not picky eaters, for those who have the stomach to be able to eat local foods, you can legit live off of 10 to 15 US dollars a day as far as your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know what I mean? Now, just like they have local foods, they also have high-end foods, you know what I mean? Because Ghana has amazing resorts, Ghana has amazing restaurants, and you can just spend just as much as you would do if you go to a Roof Chris or anything like that. But be certain that you're going to get that type of that food and that quality of food as well. So it varies. It all depends on the person. But I always tell people, the most expensive thing is going to be your flight.
Okay. So what is the average cost of living out there? I would like you to break it down for a person that is actually living out there with a job out there versus someone from the US making USD. If they come out there, what is the average cost of living?
So for a local, the average, so a local, so a good percentage, majority of of the people there, they live off salary, right? And this is an amazing question you asked me because I'm one who touched shoulders and brush shoulders with the locals a lot, and we have conversations, we converse on any and everything, and so a local can probably get maybe 1,000 CDs to 2,000 CDs a month. So you divide that by 15.5 because it's 15 and a half CDs equaling to $1 US, right? I can't really think. So give and take 150 US a month, 100 to 150. Like officers, like immigration officers, might make 3 to 4,000 CDs a month, right? So give and take a little bit over $200 USD, and so the locals are living off of that. Now, be mindful also that there are locals who make way less than that, right? And they're still living and being able to afford their place. And so, kind of like transitioning, they like to take 1 year in advance. So you do 200 times 12. Well, let's just wrap it up a little bit. 300 times 12, that's $3,600 for a whole year. And you're living in a decent place. You understand? And so anything 500 USD a month in terms of renting and above, you're living lavish. You have a security guard, you're a gated community, you live in a nice area, and so on and so forth. And as far as foods are concerned, I mean, it ranges, again, as I mentioned earlier, you can live $10 to $15 a day USD to be able to get your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Or if you're bougie and you like the fine things in life, then of course you will spend that money as well. So it all depends on your character and personality.
Love that. Love that. What is the core mission of bridging people to Africa?
The core mission, I think, for me is being able to help people, being able to see that, okay, you know what, I actually care. This guy, he actually cares on what it is that I want to get done in Ghana. That's my main thing, right? There are other services that people render. There are other organizations similar to what I do, but the difference here is the caring, the holding your hand throughout the whole process, making sure that it is successful, making sure that we get to where you want to be, right? And I'm one of those persons, as I mentioned earlier, with a network of people. I work along with other entrepreneurs as well. So whatever it is that I may not have in my field, I say, hey, this person will help you with it. So for me, it's about caring, getting the job done, and reassuring that you're happy, because those things are going to bring other people to come along, and you're going to refer other people to me as well.
How do you envision your platform contributing to the Pan-Africa movement or the global Black diaspora?
I think for me, like it's all about knowledge. So it's about giving information to the people, and information that is accurate. Because like I have to tell you, one of the things, Ro, that I've experienced even when I was there, before I even birthed this company, one of the experiences I had, just to kind of give you quickly a synopsis of that conversation, I had a young lady who reached out to me, and this young lady was asking me about citizenship. She literally booked her flight for 7 days, or her stay in Ghana for 7 days. Calls me 2 days before she goes back home, which I believe she lives in Europe. And her question to me was, I am here, I leave in 2 days, and I know you help people. I want my interview with the Ministry of Interior tomorrow. Make it happen. I said, hold up. I said, I'm so sorry. Like, what steps have you done? I haven't done anything. I heard they're giving citizenship. I came to get it so I can go back home. I said, but what have you done? She says, nothing. I said, okay, well, unfortunately, that's not how the process works. And so for me, when I saw that, it was more of a reason to kind of like, you know what? Let me go out there and actually help people, because a lot of people are misinformed. A lot of people think it's this and that in this way. And there are some instances, I'm assuming, that probably people are doing things that are not right, that are unethical. However, for me, it was more about giving you the information and doing things the right way and setting expectation. I think is extremely important, and that's all I'm about, and that's what you will see if you are doing your consultation with me, and I will tell you bits by bits, day by day, second by second.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Let me ask you, Mike, what values are at the heart of your company and how do you live them out day to day?
The values is caring, man. I think I've gotten this, and you know what's fascinating. This level of caring that I have has I've never had this before, and so it just I was bloomed into it in being in Ghana, you know, and I kind of joke about this, but this is so true. One thing I prayed about to God is for patience. I asked God for patience and he gave me Ghana because you have to have it. And so the value that I uphold with this company and in just life as a whole is caring for others and making sure I'm doing the right thing as well. You know, in my journey and everything that I do, I will make sure that because my reputation matters, right? And so I have to do right by others. I would not be in this field. I would not be birthing this company and be in front of you guys right now if I just had a messed up reputation. So it's extremely important, and I think caring is valuable to me. It's extremely valuable.
I love that. I love that. What does success look like for bridging people of Africa in both the start and the long term? What does
Um,
success look like to you and the start of it, which is right now,
right.
is the long term?
Right now, as starting crawling right now as we speak, I think it's extremely important to give people the right information. You know, on a weekly basis, although I am in America currently, I've been here for about 2, 3 weeks now. My ears are still into Ghana. My ears are still in the streets of Ghana. I'm reaching back home. Yes, I call Ghana home. I'm reaching back home. I'm talking to my resources. I'm talking to people from the Jubilee House. I'm talking to everybody. Hey, what's happening? You know, I follow certain channels, whether it be on Instagram, whether it be on YouTube, making sure that I'm up to date with what's happening with not only just the government, but anything else that's around. And so that way, once I get those information, I can now relay them to you. So just being up to date and giving the right information and accurate information is extremely important.
I love that. So, can you describe what your platform does and how it supports people through Guinean citizenship process?
So just the way that I want this to be is to hold your hand, rest assured that I have your best interest, knowing that I will get things done, and making sure that by any means necessary, we will get it done. And so I think that it is something that I strive on. It is something that I believe in. Because I know nowadays in the world that we live in, Ro, being trustworthy is very challenging, right? And so being straightforward, I don't sugarcoat anything. I know you might want to get your citizenship tomorrow, but listen, it's going to take some time. And I'm not afraid to tell you that because I have to be honest with you. And so, and any other services that you may need. And so I think those are very important to me.
Love that. What are the most common challenges people face during this process, and how does your company help overcome them?
So impatience, I can say definitely is one of those things. Helping people that wants to get something done tomorrow, it's not going to happen. And so having to, again, that word reassurance, right? Reassuring them to be able to like, listen, it's going to take some time. So let's just be patient, right? It's extremely important. Let's be patient. And then from my end, I will be persistent, right? And so that way we can merge together and marry this idea and being able to get things done.
So, all right, if you can give me an example of a challenge that an average person, let's say if I went out there tomorrow, other than patience, that I would have to face when trying to get citizenship.
I think that one of the challenges, because I faced that as well. So you get into you drive 30, 45 minutes to one department or one office because this is where someone guided you to go. And you get there, you're excited, you think things are going to be done, and that's the wrong office. Then they send you somewhere else. Then you go there, you're like, okay, that person told me this, so this is where it's at. You get there, it's not there. Then you go to a third place, and that third place never heard of what you're asking about, right? But you've already went to two places that kind of guided you, right? So it's just all about understanding that realm. And that is why with my business role that I want to eliminate that for you, right? So that way I do all of that work. And again, we're being there for the past, off and on for the past 3 years, and collectively about almost a year that I've been there. I know people now, right? And so I'm able to reach out just so one phone call and being able to say, hey, this is what I need. Can we get this done? What's the ETA on that? And that way I can relay that message back to you.
So when you say holding hands, right? And then you mentioned, reaching out to people and getting the job done. Are you physically doing the footwork for them, or are they just bringing their information to you and you're actually going out and doing the footwork? Or are you finding the information or knowing the information and you're just giving them the information and saying, go here? Do you
Great
go
question.
with them to the location? How are you holding their hand exactly?
Great question. So that opens the door for various situations, right? So you could be in America, right? And you need business registration or work permit or residency. I will get that process started for you. Whatever it is, whatever it needs that you need to fill out will be sent to you electronically. You fill it out, you get it done. Fees, whatever it is, will be paid, of course, by you. And of course, I charge a fee as well. So once that is done, then we'll be able to go ahead and start that where we get the ball rolling in that aspect. And holding your hands is through that process, right? So the initiative is to fill out the form, getting it done in a timely manner, sending it back to me. I then deliver it to them, to my peoples there. Once they get that ball rolling, they'll let me know an estimated time how long that's going to take. And I go again. It's just being the middleman, and I go back to so the legwork will be done by me. So that's why the holding of the hands idea or come about. So that's just pretty much what it will be.
Love that. Love that. How do you help users not only gain citizenship, but also connect with Guinean culture, history, and its community?
Great question. That's an amazing question. So one of the things that I also do, I partner with tour guides, right? Because I think it's extremely important, guys, to be able to know the history.
Yes.
What we are taught in America, Charlie, guys, it's a different world. So the purpose of me, and in fact, just today I connected with another tour guide, and we're going to be doing some business as well. I have a meeting with her tomorrow, and the purpose for that is for you guys, right? And so when Roll asked this question, it kind of gave me goosebumps because I'm thrilled and excited about it because I want you to know the history. I want you to see the things that we've never seen when we're in America. So it's extremely important that we get the tour guides, we go to the castles, right? This is where we were held as slaves, right? You will see everything, the dungeon, you will see where they kept us, you would see where they put us under the ground, you would see all of these things, even that door, which is called the door of no return, sorry. And that door is an actual, and I don't want to, spill the beans, but you'll see that door and you'll know what that door means when you're there. So it is extremely important. It's very touching. And so I think that aspect of going to Ghana, whether it's just to visit or wanting to live there, you need to experience that.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Let's get a little bit more into the business and operation and your strategy for it. Is your platform for profit or nonprofit, and how is it sustained?
So it is for profit. But currently, it's just all about getting the word out rather, being exposed. And I've helped some people, right? And so on my YouTube channel, which I launched recently, my first episode, I actually had one of my friends who I hosted when he came to Ghana. He did the tour and everything else with a tour guide, right? And then I took him out of that realm and showed them 2 to 3 days of what the locals do. And so you guys should definitely check out that YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is JIGGA Vision, JIGGA Vision. And you guys will see that interview. It launched my business. There was a conversation that I had with one of the people at the diaspora's office in which I conversed with them. I told them this is my idea and this is what I want to do, and how should I go about it. And just like anything in life, guys, I love to take advice. I love to take information in, and so I was giving the thumbs up, and not working with them per se, but just the idea that I have to birth this company. And so I definitely went and spoke to a few other people as well, and they said, "Hey, you're going to be able to help people." And I also want to make mention too, guys. Like I said earlier, there are other companies or organization that does this, but they're not doing it like me. Why? Because of the cost that you would have to pay them and the cost you paying me is going to be completely different, right? And so I don't charge so much to do anything that I'm doing. Everything's going to be based on the services that you're in need of.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let me ask you this. What unique offering sets you apart? Sets bridging people to Africa apart from others in the same space. So for other companies that have the same idea as you or in business for years, what sets you apart from them, the competition?
I think a couple of things. I've also been in rooms where those organizations were there, and I'm not taking anything away from them. However, I see that there's a lot of community being built within that organization. So in my mind, I think to myself, I'm like, if you're leaving one place to go to another, why are we staying with the same people that we left that place prior to join them to be in that new place? So I started thinking to myself, I said, why not branch off and being part of the local, adjusting to their life, adjusting and having the ability to be open-minded and to understand the culture versus coming into an organization that there's African Americans that's already there and we're living kind of similar to how we were living in America. And for me, I felt like there's a disconnect when you do that, because then you're not allowing or bringing in or welcoming the locals. You're kind of pushing them away and just building your own community. And so I think that's one difference, because while I'm doing this, it's not an organization. I'm doing this solely just by myself, individually, and I'm utilizing my network, right? They're helping me and I'm helping them. And so once we do connect, then you'll be able to have that connection forever. And whatever you choose to do with it, that's on you. But you're not having to pay me monthly. You're not having to pay me yearly to say you're a part of this organization. You understand? And so whatever assistance that you may need, even after I help you, whatever it is that you may need, because you are in a new place, you are in a place that you've never been before. And so that's how I'm able to help. So I think that in itself is drastic. And I think that in itself is something that we need to look at ourselves and say, you know what, how are we doing this? Do we want to go ahead and just join a group, or we want to do this where we can adapt and live in that environment?
What role does technology play in delivering your services, and how do you ensure it's accessible to all users?
I think without technology, I wouldn't be able to go anywhere, right? Because look at this right now. We have the technology to be able to converse this moment, to talk about this business. So technology plays a huge role, right? Because not only that I'm able to talk to people in America, I can talk to people in Europe, I can talk to people also who's in Ghana right now who may need my services, because I've gotten a lot of people reaching out to me from Ghana. They're not Ghanaians, they're Americans reaching out to me. So technology plays a huge role. Without it, I wouldn't be able to be successful. So that's what's amazing about technology. I can promote, I can send a message out to everywhere in the world, and people are able to get back to me.
You mentioned helping Black people. What about white, Asian? Will you be able to assist them too if they wanted to get Guineanship, citizenship?
That is an amazing question. And I think that is why my slogan is bridging people to Africa. So it's not bridging Black people. It's not a specific race. It's people. So whether you're Asian, whether you're from Europe, whether you're from the U.S., no matter what nationality you are, I am here to assist. The reason why I emphasize on Black, because we have the notion of not traveling to Africa. So I emphasize on us because we have this idea that you're sitting down in Africa at a restaurant, a lion just comes and snatch you and kill you or eat you up, right? Mm-hmm. That's the mindset. And I say this because I too was like that once upon a time, right? I just thought I had ignorant ideas and thoughts about Africa. So that's why I kind of emphasize on Black, but everyone is welcome. In fact, right after my ceremony, there were many other cultures from Chinese, Europeans and stuff like that also gained their citizenship immediately after my ceremony. So everyone's welcome.
I love that. And thank you for clearing that up. Can you share a success story from your platform that particularly moved you?
Just going back to my friend, I think hosting him, and I think that was one of the interesting parts because, we live in America for the most part, and we pretty much have everything in our hands, right? In a touch of a button, we can get anything and everything. Of course, our lounge and club scenes is valid as well out here. But when you take someone who doesn't have an expectation of things, right? Who may not have any expectation, but now you take them and you show them, hey, this is what this world is. This is what life here is. And going back to my friend, that example where I hosted him for a couple of days, I remember this like it was yesterday. The day he was leaving, he attempted to do everything to miss his flight. But he had to go back home. He had family back home, so he couldn't stay. But I remember him was like, man, how can I miss my flight? Because he enjoyed not only just being my friend and allowing me to host him and had the privilege to host him, but the things that I was able to show him. All right. And so we were able to see the locals, we were able to see those things. And I think that right there puts a smile on my face. And so, whether you're a friend, whether you're somebody that I'm meeting for the first time, I feel like we're all family, right? And so I will show you a great time. I will show you the right people and connect you to the right people. And just kind of going back to him. And again, if you guys check out my YouTube channel, you will see he's an artist in America. He travels throughout the world and performs. And so I was able to actually connect him with a club owner that they were able to connect, exchange numbers. And he's already been told when you do come back, he'll have the stage and he can do his thing. And so that's all I'm about. I'm about helping and providing those type of assistance, regardless of who you are and where you come from.
Thank you for sharing that, Mike. If you are just walking in, welcome to Standing on Business. We are currently interviewing Mike John Paul, the business owner of Chez John Paul, where he is bridging people to Africa, guys. So if you guys are interested in wanting to get citizenship in Africa, he is the man to see. Okay. With that being said, what personal experience have shaped you and how you approach leadership in business?
I just beating dead ends and roadblocks. I'm very persistent. And one of the things that I would say God has blessed me with is when I have my mind set on something, to just go after it and get it. And I think that by doing that, it brings some types of people in my life to see, man, this guy's all about his business. While I'm in Ghana, every time, wherever I go, people are gravitated to me, my aura, my personality, just to sit down and just out of nowhere, just have conversations with me. Kind of like, we're just seeing where I'm at and seeing what it is that I'm doing in Ghana and so on and so forth. So I think that just having that alone and then also seeing people seeing my personality, understanding that I'm a very caring person, integrity is extremely important for me, ethics and all of that. And so I think that also, and not only that, I partner with people. So people who work for me, I have employees in Ghana as well. Actually, I have employees in Africa, and even in Kenya. I have employees that work for me to this day. And so I don't believe in me being a boss. I believe in partnering with you and we get the job done. And so as a leader, I think that's extremely important. I don't walk around like I'm bigger than anybody. No, I'm not. Because just the same way I got it is the same way it can be taken away. And so it's extremely important for me to know that it's all about having open conversations with my employees. It's about partnering with them doing things and encouraging them as well, because sometimes that's all they need. They need that push.
Right.
And so I do that as well to help them, and also they help me as well. All the time, even with my posts, sometimes I'll get so my social media manager, she actually resides in Kenya, because I was in Kenya as well for some time. And so she'll reach out to me and she'll say, hey, I think next time you do this, just add that to it. And my response is, got it, noted, I got you. I'll work on it next time. And so that's what it's about. It's about, partnering and working with one another. I think that's what makes a great leader.
Let's talk the language. I know you mentioned someone your partner in Kenya. So what is the language you picked up on from being out there?
Well, you got me. So it's challenging. It is challenging. So in Ghana, there's over 100 languages. They don't like the word dialect because there's truly languages, because there's a lot of tribes out there, and so each and every one of them use different languages. So there's over 100, but the most popular ones is Tree, around in Accra where I normally stay, and there's other ones as well, Ga and stuff like that. Now, if they're having a conversation and they're talking about me, I would never know. So I haven't picked up on it much. I think that's something in the future that I may want to do, maybe a class here and there, to be able to maybe have a few conversations, a few sentences. But it is challenging, and Kenya speaks a whole different language, and they have a different accent than Ghana. So the accent in Kenya is very profounding. It's noticeable, and but you work with it. As you're traveling and you're hearing these things, you get accustomed to it and stuff like that. But unfortunately, I haven't picked up anything yet. What I can say this though, Ro, that they also in Ghana they speak Pidgin. So Pidgin is like a slang. The older heads, those who are 50 and above, I don't think they speak that. So it's kind of like for the younger crowd. And Pidgin is like, there's a little bit of English in it, right? I think they speak that for others not to know what they're saying, but I can grasp a few words and understanding from that.
Got you. What has this journey taught you about identity, belonging, or entrepreneurship?
I can start off with saying this. Outside of let's just take the business and entrepreneurship out for a second. This journey has taught me a lot about myself. This journey had made me realize that it don't matter how old you are, you can adjust. It doesn't matter how old you are, you can make changes in your life. No matter how old you are, you can adapt. You can be warm, right? And have that brotherhood, that sisterhood. I think it's extremely, extremely important. And that was during my journey, and of course my journey is still in existence.
Right.
That's one of those things that I realized. I was not a patient person at all, and I was able to build patience with my journey in Ghana. And so now to transition to now the business side and the entrepreneurship aspect, I think that it has helped me to understand people more. And with understanding people and knowing how to work with people and being patient, because they work on their own time, you understand? And so having that ideology and being able to make those adjustments has helped me tremendously. And that's why I think that, this is going to go for a long time, because, it's one of those things, man. I've made the adjustments and it's permanent. It's going to be permanent.
I love that. Do you plan to expand this work to include other African nations?
Absolutely. That is the goal. That is the idea. And what I've been looking at, I went to like 5 other African countries. If I'm not mistaken, I went to Ethiopia, South Africa, Zanzibar, Kenya. One more, and I don't recall, but I went to those places not only just to visit, but to kind of get a feel and a vibe, right? And I've noticed that Kenya is extremely interesting, to a point where I'm like, hey, maybe I may move to Kenya. So it's a bit more, to be quite frank, it's a bit more advanced than Ghana, the infrastructure, the technology, and everything else. And so I'm seeing that, and so I'm touching these countries just so that I can adapt, understanding what's going on there as well, so that I can actually bring my company and being able to help others. And in every single country that I've mentioned, I've also started networking as well, and being able to keep my ears to the street on those countries.
Love that. Where do you see your business in 5 years from now?
Great question. I see my business at a point where people know me and people trust me, and because of those things, the business is still going, is still active, and people will not only recognize me, but people will be able to reach out to me for their needs. And so, and that's one of those things. I don't want to say thriving. I don't want to say, because what's thriving, right? To me, it's not about thriving. To me, it's about helping. So whatever comes with that, I appreciate it, and I'm thankful for it. But this ultimately role, like when I'm telling you this from the bottom of my heart, is just helping people. You understand? I've gone routes where I was gonna join an organization, and the things I found out, I was like, it's not for me. And so I want to give people that opportunity to say, okay, you know what? Let me go this route. And so 5 years from now, I want to see the business is still active, it's still going. I'm still gonna have that passion of helping people and being able to get people whatever services that they're in need of.
Nice, nice, nice. What advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs who want to create a social impact?
Man, listen, I think that it's imperative that whatever God given talent you have, to start tapping into it. A lot of the times, as of late, in the past few months, I've been listening to motivational speeches and stuff. And I think that in itself, like I would wake up from time to time in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I put one on and I would listen to it. And I think it has helped me to understand life. It has helped me to understand business. It has helped me to understand entrepreneurship at another level. As I mentioned before, I've had companies prior to this, but now I'm on a different level. And so I hope that for those of you who are listening, and whatever God-given talent you may have, whether it be book smart, whether it be being good with numbers, or whatever the case may be, save money, start your business, put forth the work. It's not going to be easy, because when this is yours, you have to spend money before you see money, right? And so just dive into whatever it is that you love. Don't just do things because somebody else is doing it. Don't just do things because somebody else told you to do it. Do what you're passionate about and what you love the most, because then it's not going to be a work. It's not going to be a job. It's going to be just something you're passionate about doing.
What skills do you believe are essential in today's business environment?
You have to have human-to-human interaction. I think being warm, being accepting of others' opinion, being accepting of people's culture. So I think because we kind of lost that, throughout the years because of technology. So although technology has replaced a lot of the things that we used to do 10, 15, 20 years ago, I think we need to get back to that feel fine, I call it, you know what I mean? Where you're feeling one another, you're having conversations, you're open, you're respecting others' opinions, you're respecting others' perspective and point of view, just as they should yours. And so once you have that human-to-human interaction, being real, not only with yourself, but with others, being trustworthy, showing people that you do what you say you're going to do. I think those are extremely important.
Love that. What does standing on business means to you personally?
I think standing on business for me, it's It's about what you say you're going to do and that you're going to do it, that you get it done. By any means necessary. And when I say by any means necessary, I'm not saying shortcut it. I'm not saying being dishonest. No, all of that was with all integrity, being honest and being able to do things the right way, but getting things done. If I make a promise to you, make sure that that promise is actually handled and making sure that we get things the way that we say we're going to do. So standing on business for me. Now, it's also a personal thing as well, because I think it's extremely important. Because a lot of times we say that term or that word or that phrase, and it's just to say it, right? But it's extremely important because it holds value. And so based on your action, based on your integrity and your ethic, your work ethic, and your deadlines and things like that, I think that's what standing on business means.
Love that. Well explained too. What final message do you want to leave with our audience about the power of community in business?
Well, guys, I think when it comes to community and business, I think that is extremely important more than ever. We know what's going on in the world. We know what's going on in the country, right? And this is a perfect time to build a community, right? And building a community doesn't mean we're just one kind. No, it's all of us, right? Because we're all human beings. We're all brothers and sisters, regardless of your color, your skin, your race, whatever. So it's building that community to come together, to being able to establish and having something to live for tomorrow, as I should say. And then with that community, finding a way that you can build for tomorrow so you can leave for those that's coming behind you. And so I think those are very, very, very important. We are at a sensitive moment and a sensitive time in the world where, people are at the edge of their seats, don't know what tomorrow holds, don't know what tomorrow will bring. And this is very, very important. This is the time to pivot to your entrepreneurship mindset, right? This is the time to pivot because, nothing is guaranteed tomorrow anymore. We used to say that back in the days, but it's more prevalent right now because nothing's guaranteed. You can lose anything just, in one day's time. And so I think community is extremely important. Find those who think alike, right? Find those who want to achieve in life. Find those people, right? Whether they're better than you in terms of financially, connect with them. You understand? Because you can learn a thing or two. So that way, when you connect with them and you go under their wing and you become successful, somebody else will come under you as well, and you will be able to help them. And it becomes that,
Domino effect.
Right. It'll become that domino effect, and then that's how you build those communities. And I think now more than ever, we need to do that.
How can people connect with you and support bridging people to Africa?
Right now, guys, we can go just going on my website, ChezJeanPaulLLC.com. Reach out to me. There's also a chat. You can, if you don't want to do the consultation, you can even chat with me on the website. I get back to you within 24 hours. And having that conversation, we have an open conversation, open communication. We'll talk things out and whatever it may be. Again, and I'm going to say this with sincereness of my heart. Whether you want to or don't want to live in Africa, that's fine. But I think you should visit one country in Africa. And so if you decided to be Ghana for right now, because Ghana is the closest in terms of being on the West Coast, reach out to me. I'll give you the map. I'll show you the blueprint. I'll connect you to the right people, so that way things are easier and smooth for you, and that way you can enjoy. I've done things in Ghana for the locals that they didn't even know existed. Do you understand? And so can you imagine the things that you may not even to the back burner for a second and go to Ghana and see what it's all about.
All right, let's go. Is there anything you want to close out with before the interview is done?
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, thank you again for allowing me to be on your platform. It's a pleasure being on here. I'm privileged to be here and giving me the opportunity to kind of talk things out. I want to let you guys know again, a few of my handles. So on YouTube is JIGGA Vision, JIGGA Vision, Vision. That's where I'm going to start loading my interviews, start having podcasts, communicating with those just like you guys who's actually been there or who haven't been to Ghana and why they want to go to Ghana or Africa as a whole. So check that my channel, subscribe, like, share, turn your notification button on so that way you can be on top of it and know exactly what's happening in Ghana as well. I'll also put news as well and information. My website, ChezJeanPaulLLC.com. Chez spelled ChezJeanPaulLLC.com. There you can, if you don't want to do the consultation, you can just go right into chatting with me for a bit. We can go from there and then having those conversations. I'm also going to be uploading blogs and news information as well on there, so that way you guys can see what's happening in Ghana, what people are taking advantage of, and things of that nature. And so you guys can also follow me on here on TikTok on this particular page here. I can't recall exactly what it is, but I'm pretty sure you know.
Chez Jean Paul LLC.
There we go. Thank you, Chez Jean Paul LLC. So similar to my website. So follow me on here as well. I do have an Instagram. I can always, once you follow me on any of those channels or social media pages, you will see the IG as well, so where I just upload new things and pictures and stuff like that and stories behind them. So those are my handles, guys. Again, very, very, very grateful and thankful, Ro, for allowing me to be on your platform once again. And guys, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please take this opportunity right now to favorite Chez Jean Paul, better known as Mike John Paul. Okay, I think it's incredible that you are bridging people to Africa. Okay, I myself would love to go to Africa. That's one of the places that I have to get off my bucket list, most definitely. So I will be needing your services because, why not? If I'm going to be out there, why not just get my citizenship? Okay, and I do have a vision of doing so much more out there for the people that is out there. So I think that's incredible that you started a business that's not just about you, but it's about helping others do the same thing that you spent 3 years trying to do, y'all. Please, y'all, make sure y'all hit Chez Jean Paul with a follow. Guys, thank you for coming out to Standing on Business. Okay, if you or somebody you know have a business and they would like to promote it, please message me on Instagram. Okay, it's at Role Model Fresh. Okay, if you would like to be a part of Standing on Business and promote your business, or maybe you're not on social media, but you would like to spread your business out just a tad bit more. If you walked in late and you missed any of this episode, this will also be uploaded onto YouTube, okay? So you can catch it on YouTube, which is Role Model Fresh, okay, at Role Model Fresh. Please make sure you like and subscribe to my channel as well. Thank you very much, Mike.
Before you go, real quick, guys, I know we're ending this. I just want to let you guys know an update too. Right now, for the past couple of years, they're doing this, but it's still in existence. They are offering free land to diasporas, and so it's just paying the fees. However, it is free land, and so again, all of that you can communicate with me. We can chop it up. I have those people also on my number, on my phone rather. And so, like I said, anything and everything is possible, and I'm the right person.
So, do your business help people obtain land as well?
Everything.
And as well as building?
Yes. I get you to the right people. I get you to the right person, and giving you the steps and guidelines on how to do things the right way, so that way you don't get burned. Because of course, just like any other place in the world, there are some opportunists out there. And so, yes, I anything and everything you can think of that relates to Ghana, I can help.
Okay, let me ask you another question. Being that you just said that, I know I've been to Africa, of course, not South Africa. So with that being said, I do know there's areas like I've been to Egypt where they won't complete building their homes. Like the homes will be there, but it will not have windows or anything. And they do that because it saves them on taxes. Is it the same in Ghana?
No. There are homes like that, but that's not for those reasons. A lot of the times you see homes like that in Ghana, it's because people ran out of money to finish building. So what they thought would have been $20,000 before starting, find out it's 60,000. And so they pull back and kind of leave it the way it is. And then sometimes we'll sell it just as is. And then you coming in and being a buyer, you build it the way that you want. So there's various reasons to that. It's not nothing tax related. In fact, right now as we speak today, there's really no taxes on property, and if there is, it's very minimal to a point where it doesn't even move you. So a lot of things are going to start happening soon with the new government and stuff like that. But guys, why not take advantage today? I personally, I have a PA, a person to go look at that land, just like I just made mention to you guys, because I want to take advantage of it. Why not have land? So yeah, and I can help you guys.
Another quick question. What is the average cost for someone living in the U.S. to travel to Africa?
$600 more than what I just mentioned.
Got you. Thank you very much, Jean-Paul, for sharing that information. All right. If there's anybody in the audience that has any questions, you may now either come into the box and ask questions, or we take questions from anyone in the audience if you have a question. Recipes and lingerie. I noticed you said that was a serious question. I don't see a question if you ask one.
And thank you for the coins, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. I didn't even realize it. Thank you.
You know what? Some people are really childish, but I'll ask the question. They said, "Can you help me Roll? Can you help Roll find a husband in Ghana so he can help take care of our sheeps and goats?"
Oh, absolutely. I can get you and connect you to a prince. I mean, that is. I don't do match. I don't do. What is it? Relationship connection or dating? No, I don't. That I don't do, because that's all you. Sorry.
That's not his area of expertise.
I can take you to places and you decide what you want.
Listen, when you go out there, trust me, they would be wanting to marry. Okay.
Thanks.
You will find you someone out there. Yo, thank you so much, Mike, for your time. Any real questions from the audience? All right, that concludes our interview, guys. I will see you all later. Thank y'all for tuning in to Standing on Business or Role Model Fresh. And make sure you follow Chez Jean-Paul, our first guest on our new show, guys. Okay, thank you, Mike. See you later.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Taylor, thank you. Thank you guys so much for the love. Guys, I am going to exit off. I literally just got home and did not eat. So I do plan on eating right now and going back into the mode of preparing this album, guys, which, I just got my album cover done and I just made it home so that way I could complete it. But I've been really going extremely hard on this. I got some pasta from one of my favorite Italian restaurants. I was in New York, so